Welcome everybody, my name is Kees and Koster. I'm a Dutch Java guy, and today I'm not going to be talking about Java at all. So I'm in a good place. What I want to do today is spend the next 20 minutes talking about command line tools, specifically about sed, grep and awk, which have very interesting names. They have very, very interesting histories that I'm afraid, have time for. So my intention today is to get you guys started with those tools and to see when and how you apply them and maybe do a little demo. I have no slides, so I'll be using the command line as my presentation. So to start off, let's look at, why would you use these tools? When you're doing systems, when you're troubleshooting systems, when you're doing system administration, when you're programming, when you're designing things, there's always these little things that, firing up a Java program is too much work for. You just want to capitalize all the letters in a file, or you just want to find out what happened last night, or you're called out of your bed 3 a.m., so production is down, you have to figure something out. And these are the tools, sed, grep and awk are tools that can help you do that. The reason I use those a lot is because they're always there. I run a Mac. They're there. If you root your Android phone, most likely, I haven't checked, but they'll be there. If you SSH into a milking, I'm working with cow milking machines now for some reason. I'm doing embedded stuff in C++ now. But those things you can SSH into, and sed, grep and awk will be there. They don't need a UI. They don't get installed. They're there, they're usable, they're insanely powerful, and they will confuse the hell out of you every time you use them. Also important to note, everything I tell you here is write once code and then you throw it away. Yeah, you don't keep scripts, you don't do that. You use it, you enjoy the output, and then you chuck it away. Because next time you'll know more and you'll do better. So what I'll do in this talk, there'll be 4 sections before I get flagged out of time. One is I'll talk briefly about regular expression. Who here uses regular expressions already? Fair, yeah, most people. You've seen them, I'll talk a little bit about them. I'll talk about grep. Who here uses grep? Oh, okay, that's good. So I'll do that briefly. Sed, anybody use sed? Yeah, the number of hands are dwindling. Awk, who here uses awk? Yeah, okay, 4 or 5 people, good. Okay, nice thing about these tools is that even though if you use them every day, you can still learn little dark corners about them. So do talk about that a lot. Let's start with the regular expression. So I've been told that if you combine data with commands, that's a bad idea. And so is true for regular expressions. So regular expressions are, real brief, a way of expressing something you want to match. Think of them as a filter or a pattern matcher. So say I'm looking for my first name, Kees. You can specify that Kees is my first name. This might match that name. Yeah? Or maybe somebody wrote it with not with a capital K, but with a smaller k. And what regular expressions allow you to do is to build up a filter step by step. The iterative process is very important, I think. And this expresses its case with either capital K or a smaller k. And it could be part of a larger sentence or not. Doesn't really matter. And here I've combined data, EES, with commands, which are the square brackets. The square brackets specify in this case, hey, everything between this, one character matches this one. I'll use quite a bit of this, so if you have questions about regular expressions, just raise your hand and ask. I'm not going to go through all the syntax. That's part because there's no time. It's also largely because it depends on the tool, which version of regular expression, and which dialect, and which subversion and subdialect, and God knows what. There are literally 20, 30 ways to do regular expressions out there. So be careful and make sure you read the documentation of whatever it is you're using. Let's do a simple example. I've got a few files that I've picked from here and there. And let's start with simple grep. So grep is a tool that takes a stream of bytes, text usually, it expects things to be sort of lines, and then take those lines and then filters them based on a regular expression. So I might express grep select from a file, error file. So what just happened? This is an HTTP error log, such as the ones that you might find when you're trying to troubleshoot things at 3 a.m. on a remote server that's somewhere off in Holland. And things went wrong, and you've got to figure out of a few megabyte file, figure out what is wrong. So now you want to reduce the input, you want to reduce it to something you can actually read. And this is where grep comes in. What it does, it takes things line by line, and it only shows you the lines that have that filter, in this case select, that have the word select in them. And if you look carefully, you can see there's the word select. And this is annoying, obviously, because now I have lines with the word select, but I can't even read, because there's so much stuff there, I can't even read. And grep allows you to colorize this. So what I might say is minus color equals always select. So I'll show you the command at the bottom here. I don't know if you guys can read it, but it says color, use the color, and then match on the word select. So this allows me to see, hey, somebody's trying to do an SQL injection on my service. That's interesting. So these all look very familiar, and they all look the same, yeah? But, SQL is not actually a language that cares about the casing of things. So maybe I don't want to check just for select. Maybe I'd rather have, as this is going to take a while, So the regular expression I said earlier allow you to do little letters. You can use the filters, but this is really unwieldy, and thank God somebody thought of that. I can say grep minus I, capital case insensitive. So now, oh wait, I forgot the color again. Minus, what was it? Color as always. Now we can see, hey, wait, there are two types actually. One that happens to use always uppercase and one that happens to use lowercase. And I miss that. One of the things I like about grep is that I can take a huge bunch of information and I can sort and filter and highlight it, and it allows me to make a sense of a lot of information by filtering out everything I don't care about. So for example, this one, the select here, has a union here. So again, maybe I'm looking for something, this all looks similar, maybe there's something else going on. So there's a form of grep which is called minus v. Minus v inverts the filter. So what it does, it filters everything out that matches the filter rather than show what matches the filter. And these two are very powerful together. So if I filter out union, oh wait, minus I, what you can see is that suddenly it matches something else. There seems to be another use of select. There's another SQL injection attack going on my service that I previously missed. Yeah? Now the example, obviously you can ignore this kind of stuff because this whole script kit is doing it. But the important thing here is to note that grep has a filtering, and you can use it both ways. You can use it to keep stuff, and you can use it to filter stuff out. And what you'll find is that you typically will start by trying to boil things down to stuff you want to see, and then start filtering out stuff that you thought you wanted to see but you don't. Or that happens to match that thing and you really don't want to see it. And it really helps to check your assumptions. For in this case, what I did, my assumption was they were all the same, so you would have that union in there, all. But they didn't. There's actually two different types of SQL injection going on here. Yeah? So this is basic filtering for grep. Any quick questions about that? Then we'll move on to sed. Oh wait, I have a question for you guys. So who thinks now that they've seen this, they're ready to start using grep? Okay, that's 1, 2, 3 guys. I did something wrong. What did I do wrong?
The others already using it.
Sorry?
The others are already using it.
Oh, you all use it already?
Yeah.
Okay.
In summary.
Thank you. In summary. Okay. So let's talk about sed. Sed is the stream editor. SED, stream editor. So what sed does, it takes input stream and it allows me to manipulate that. So, let's say I have a JSON file with countries. This specific file is just a language file. It's used in one of the projects I worked on. And you know, you have your product owner, they come up to you and say, well, I don't think those country names are precisely correct. You know, in Dutch we have these little accents that we have to deal with, and there's some spelling that is politically sensitive. So our product owner came to me and said she wanted to edit this file. So I gave her this file, which she gave back to me and said, I can't deal with this. It's JSON, it's unreadable, it's just gibberish. I don't want to deal with this. I need Excel. Okay. The only real database in use out there is Excel. I don't care what vendors tell you. There's only one database in use at all, and that's Excel. Okay, so, and editor, by the way, is also Excel. I mean, screw Word. So now, this is not something that Excel can read. Or maybe the modern versions can, but certainly not the version that they use at the ministry where I worked. So, we need to make a CSV file out of this so that Excel can read this. How might one do this? So what I usually do, and this is like I said earlier, these tools are specifically made for an iterative development process. So what I usually start out with, just cut the country file by more. Just look at it. Well, first of all, we need to take these colons and we need to replace those with semicolons, because in spite of the comma-separated file name, you actually in Excel have to use semicolons.
You can import with a semicolon or with something else. You can choose what you import.
Okay.
When you import, you can import this type of data.
When you say you can import, you mean you can import. But our dear product owner, with all respect to her, cannot import. If it's not Excel, there's fairly little she can do with it. But good point. I mean, you can set whatever separate you like. You can have tabs, commas. But you need to have the double-click ability. And, truth to your point. So what I'll do is I'll replace... oh, wait. There's more columns. I don't want all of those to be replaced. Yeah. So what I'll do is, you'll note I escape here. I'm building command line. I use the escape. I make sure that the shell doesn't get in the way, try to expand things. Because regular expressions and name globbing and other things will actually mix if you're not careful. So always use the single quotes around your command line there, just to make sure that nothing gets in the way. The format is this. I do a command, and the only command I actually learned instead is S for replace. Don't ask why it's an S. Substitute maybe. And then you do forward slashes with your regular expression. So what do I want to do? I want to replace a double quote followed by a colon, followed by a space, followed by a double quote. And I want to replace that with a semicolon, and for formatting, I also want to replace that with a space. Does that make sense? Let's try it. What could go wrong? Sorry.
Second quote.
Second quote. Am I missing a quote here somewhere? Yeah, the final quote.
Yeah.
The final single quote. So if you look at it here now, the double quotes are gone. They're still here. and here, so I need to deal with those, but here the separator for the double click is there. First step. Okay, so now let's do some more stream editing. Because that's one of the things I like about these things. You just build up something that does the first step, and then you add to that the second step, then you add to that the third step. You don't have to make it complex in itself. It's just one thing that works. Oh, 5 minutes? What? I don't believe that. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll keep talking until somebody drags me off the stage, yeah?
You can pass one single set, you can pass several replacements to.
You can, but I never do. And you're free to not do it the way I do, okay? Just to make clear, I'm not an expert in any of these tools. This is how I use them, and by all means laugh at how I do it. But what I do is I build pipelines of these that have several steps. Because it allows me to iteratively build this, and I'm sure they can be optimized. So let's remove the double quotes and the commas actually. So let's substitute the double quotes and commas with nothing, and then use G. So what I do is here, I substitute, I'll stand on this side, I substitute a comma or a double quote with nothing. And G says do it for every instance you find on a single line. Why is it G? I don't know, but it is. Let's try this, see what happens. Yeah? And then we need to, we need to have only things that have URN in them, so let's bring out URN. This removes the accolades from JSON, and then put that out into foo.csv. CSV, yeah? Okay, now let's see if Excel, or in this case numbers, understands what it is that I've tried to do. Yeah! My product owner can read this file. She can send it back to me and can use a similar process, not quite the same, to get it back into JSON again. Then put it into Git, and all is good. Yeah? So this is stream editing. And now, given the time constraint, I wanted to show you about grep as well. So I'll speed it up by showing you the script I made in Awk, but I won't actually build it up as I've done before. It's called Gray. Wait, I'll put it at the top of the screen. How's that for readability? Did I lie when I said this is write once code and then you throw it away? Yeah? To give you an idea, that command line of sed I just constructed is different from the one I prepared, just because it's possible to do it. Okay, so what is Awk? Awk is officially called a reporting tool. Well, I wouldn't use it for reporting, but it's actually true, because what you do with Awk is you look through files and you collect things as you go. Yeah, so it's a bit like grep, it's a bit like sed, and you'll see that I use a bit of both, but it also has the ability to take context information from one line to the next, which in sed and grep I'm sure is possible. I've never done it, and it's really hard probably. So how does Awk work? Awk. You feed it a bunch of commands. I've put one on each line, and I'll talk you through them real brief. So it starts with, and here you can see its ancestry, it starts with a regular expression in forward slashes, and that means that the stuff that's in accolades behind it will be executed when that regular expression hits. Yeah, so if you have a match. So if the line has action is gray list, what I'm trying to do is build a little report that shows me from my mail log how often something was gray listed and then was accepted, or maybe not. Yeah, I've added gray listing, which is hugely helpful if you're combating spam, and I want to know how effective that is. So if I find a line that has a gray list, I print something, I look at $10. So this dollar syntax means think of the text as columns. Yeah, and this is the 10th column. And this is, I usually try one and see it's off to the right somewhere, it's off to the left somewhere. Okay, I'll just take number 10, which happens to have the email address of the sender who's being blacklisted, or graylisted in this case. And then I clip off the sender is part and a few other things. And this is how I get to a clean email address. Be careful, email addresses have a very different syntax from what you think. @ signs are perfectly fine in an email address. If you really want to screw up other people's email parsing, take Kees @ something, and you'll have a lot of fun. Q active is another thing. You'll note I started on the first line, /, so this is another thing that matches, and it probably matches another line. And I do the same thing, except here I use $7, so the email address must have been in the 7th column, where column in this case is space divided. And then finally there's this special regular expression that's only supported by Awk. There's an end, and there's another one that's called begin, all caps, and that matches either the beginning or the end of the file, or the stream I should say, obviously. So what this does, it fires at the very end of the file. And I'll run it just to show you. Sorry about the layout, but here this one was accepted without graylisting. And as you look at the commands here, I checked in the array, I keep a record of what email addresses were graylisted, and if it was not graylisted, then I say, hey, it was not graylisted, and I just accepted it. Others, so these guys, and they're obviously spammy. I mean, I've literally received no valid email except the test email from myself at the end. Everything else is just spam that did or did not go through the filtering. My point is, I can keep here, I declare an array, which I use as the key, the email address, and then the value 0 or 1, depending on whether it was added or not. And I can take that with me across the line. So where grep and sed are focused purely on the one line that you're working with, and yeah, you can use lines before and after, but it's really unwieldy. In Awk, what you can do is you can specify what needs to happen if a line matches one of your regular expressions. And this is my cue to keep quiet and let you guys go. If you do have any questions, if you would like to know more, by all means please find me, and I'll be happy to help you out.